Hey everybody, here I am again. Today I'm actually cooking on the NUKE oven. As some of y'all might remember, last week I posted a picture of it in the crate on Facebook and called it the Tasmanian Devil, or said it might be a Tasmanian Devil in there. Well, there's a story behind that. Well, the story is that on that particular day, I knew last Thursday it was going to be shipped and it was coming in freight line, and I didn't imagine I was going to be around to sign the bill of lading and to tell the driver where to unload it at. So I had it delivered to my mama's house, and the guy called me. The driver, he called me after dinner on Thursday and told me when he was planning on being here. And I said, well, I'm not going to be able to be there, but I told him where to unload it at, and told him my mama would be here to sign for it. Well, I come in that evening and he had unloaded it right there where I told him I wanted to unload it at, and it was crated up real well, and it was wrapped in bubble wrap and plastic wrap all the way around. You couldn't really tell what was in it, inside of it, unless you knew what was in it. Of course, I knew what was in it. Nobody else did. And over on one side, it had a sheet of paper that said wood-fired oven. That's all it said, wood-fired oven. Well, my mama, of course, she was here when it was unloaded, and one of her friends come up, and they were having a conversation trying to figure out what was in this crate. Well, I got home and went out there, was going to unwrap it and unpack it, and Mama followed me out in the yard to where it was at, and she asked me, well, what is it? I said, well, I don't know. It might be a Tasmanian Devil. So I go on and I'm out there uncrating it, and I hear my mama texting her friend telling her that it is a Tasmanian Devil oven. Now, there's two things wrong with what I just said. The first thing is my mama and text should never be in the same sentence. Just never. The other thing is, yes, you heard me correctly. I heard my mama text her friend. I didn't see my mama. My mama talks into her phone, and the phone translates it and turns it into text. And sometimes that don't just work out too well. The translation has a lot to be desired at times, and that might be from where we're from. I don't know. But my mama, in her texting, she don't text a sentence or a phrase or even a paragraph. She texts in short stories, lots of times. She just, these long texts, I'll be reading the text and I've got to roll through it. You know, it's so long. And about 10% of the time, I'll read through it, and most of the time, I can kind of tell what she's trying to say and what the translation meant to say or meant to be. Sometimes I can't, and sometimes I'll read through it and I'll just text her back and say, huh? Or just call her, because I can't make heads or tails out of what it is. But my mama, she talks text. So I actually heard mama texting her friend. Said, well, it's a Tasmanian Devil oven. Well, I got it unwrapped, and of course it ain't a Tasmanian Devil. It's a NUKE wood-fired oven. So I thought I would aptly name the oven Taz. I think it kind of goes along with that, and it's kind of cool. Well, today, you know, last week I made a short video of me with the initial fire in the oven. Today I'm actually baking in the oven. I'm baking what's called hardtack. Some of you may have heard of hardtack, don't know what it is. Some of you probably that have heard of it knows what it is. Hardtack is a historical food. It goes way back hundreds of years. It goes back to the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, probably prior to the Revolutionary War. It's a very simple food. It's a survival food. It's 3 ingredients. That's all it is. It's flour, a little bit of salt, and water. And the reason for the water is to kind of smooth and bind everything together, and then you bake the water out of it, because you want it completely dry, because it's like I said, it's a survival food, and it's supposed to be able to be stored and carried for a long period of time, and it's a subsistence food. You know, it's a last resort. You eat it when you ain't got no other choice. It's been called several things over the years. Jawbreaker, because it's extremely hard. Ship's biscuits. It was carried as provisions on ships that were coming over here to the New World or to the United States from England, various places overseas. You know, they carried a lot of provisions. They had a long journey. They didn't have motorboats. They didn't have GPS or anything. They were true navigators. They were going by the stars and by compasses, and they calculated their journey. And of course, it took a long time. If the wind wasn't blowing, they didn't go very fast. So they had to carry a lot of provisions to make the trip over the sea. They carry things like salted meat, dried fruit, and just whatever they could that would have a long shelf life, because like I said, it took a long time for them to come over. And they also carried hardtack. And hardtack, I expect hardtack was the last thing. It was the last resort. When they run out of the dried meat, when they run out of the dried fruit, the salted meat, everything, then they resorted to the hardtack, because hardtack is tasteless. It's hard. You got to soak it in coffee or water just to be able to eat it. But you can get by with it. You can survive on it. And that's what it was. It's a survival food. It was very popular. A very popular provision in the Civil War. Both armies, the North Army and the South Army, provided it through their commissaries to the soldiers. Matter of fact, I read something not too terribly long ago about a piece of hardtack that was kept as a memento from the Civil War. It was found, you know, and I think it was actually auctioned off and brought a lot of money. Piece of hardtack over 150 years old and still intact and still edible, simply because there's no preservatives. It's nothing but flour and a little bit of salt and all the moisture cooked out of it. As long as it's kept dry and as long as it's kept in a container, something airtight or at least bug proof, where weevils, anything like that, any kind of insects can't get into it and damage it, it'll last forever. It's got a indefinite shelf life. It's kind of like a pemmican, but even probably lasts longer than pemmican. But I'm cooking some hardtack today. Like I said, it's very easy to cook. It's just a simple dough. You put the water in it to bind it, and then you cook the water out of it. The reason why I'm doing that on this NUKE grill is because if you've looked at pictures of it, you can't really see it here. The stack is covered, and I got the camera on a tripod, but there is 2 ports on top of this thing. This one here is the stack. It's the outlet for the smoke out of the cooking chamber, or the fire chamber. There's another one that's exhaust for the cooking chamber, so it don't build up a lot of excessive moisture in the cooking chamber. And I've thought about making hardtack several times. And you know, all my cooking is outdoors. I cook outdoors. And I can make it in a Dutch oven, but a Dutch oven is a very humidified, or has a lot of humidity in it. It's a cooking vessel that keeps a lot of moisture in it. Unless you crack the lid, and then you lose a lot of heat. But this oven here, this NUKE oven, being it has that exhaust on the cooking chamber, it lets a lot of that moisture escape. So it's doing really well here. I'm running about 375. The cooking time on hardtack is about an hour. I don't know how long this has been running. It's been running over an hour, but I did make it a little thicker than I should have. Probably going to do another batch another time. And anybody that knows me and has been around me cooking, time don't matter. I don't cook by time. I cook everything I cook it till it's done. And I'm not being smart saying that. That's just the way it is. You cook everything till it's done. If it's not done, it's not done. But the hardtack is still drying out. It's getting. I flipped it over one time, and it's getting dried out on the other side. It'll be done shortly. But I did want to just kind of put this video out here. Another thing, I meant to say this earlier. This, like I said, this is a NUKE, N-U-K-E. It looks like NUKE. Looks like it's a NUKE wood-fired oven. But the N has this little squiggly line over the top of it. That means NUKE. You say it NUKE. And I just wonder how my mama's phone translated the word NUKE. I don't even want to know, but I wondered. But you know, I appreciate y'all watching. If you like this video, remember, mash the thumbs up right down here. And you might as well, if you like it, you might as well go ahead and subscribe. Mash subscribe over here, and you'll see my future videos. Hadn't made many in a long time, but in 19 months, exactly 19 months, I'm gonna be coming home. I'm gonna be retiring. I plan on working on my cookbook some more. Finally getting it finished up and releasing it. Plan on doing more videos, doing a lot more outdoor cooking. Forrester's Fine Foods. I cook outdoors. Thank you for watching.